When it came to introducing new characters for the original G1 Transformers series, some of them were brought in as special teams, such as the Dinobots.
Dinobots! No! Fool around! Right! Dinobots! Transform!
The Insecticons.
This time we'll get what's coming to us!
And the Constructicons.
In the world of the Transformers, nothing is what it seems. Meet the Constructicons, 6 evil robots that transform into one mechanical giant.
Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchasing some merch on my Teespring store today. Originating in the Diaclone toy line as Construction Vehicle Robo, the Constructicons were brought into the Transformers toy line in 1985 as the Decepticons Engineering and Building Team, and they were the first combiner in the series. The 6 Constructicons merged to form Devastator, a super-powered robot giant.
What happened is Optimus Prime had no way out.
And yes, before you ask, please do not get me started on this version, or any others for that matter, as they will be a discussion for another day. As toys, they were sold separately, each with a part of Devastator. Eventually, they were sold together as a gift set as well. Scrapper, the leader of the team, transforms into a front loader and is the team's main engineer.
I think we've used Optimus Prime's remnants most creatively, and I've just figured out where this part can do the most. Damage? Just the word I was searching for, Hook.
He forms Devastator's right leg. Mixmaster, who transforms into a cement mixer, is the Constructicons' crazy fabricator.
Get some H2SO4 with that HCl with the... I know! I'll combine some of each of the stronger acids.
He forms Devastator's left leg. Longhaul is the hard-working carryall who isn't happy with his job. He transforms into a dump truck.
Remove! Remove! Always remove! I didn't join this outfit to be a dump truck!
And the poor guy also transforms into Devastator's crotch. Hook is a master craftsman and perfectionist, which can make him rather snobbish.
Nobody would follow an uncharismatic boar like you!
Like his name implies, he transforms into a boom truck with a hook, as well as the upper torso of Devastator. The brutish Bone Crusher believes in survival of the fittest.
Hey, we're not scrap iron yet, so don't get drippy.
As such, he turns into a bulldozer that also forms Devastator's left arm. Finally, Scavenger, who is always trying to prove his worth,
Look, guys, if we don't make it, it's been great being part of the team.
transforms into a power shovel loader with built-in sensors to detect fuels, metals, and other useful building materials. He forms the right arm of Devastator. Once fully combined, Devastator himself is extremely powerful. While he may boast of his strength,
Nothing defeats the Devastator! Nothing!
the team's infighting causes his mind to be simple, allowing him to become easily distracted. When the Constructicons were introduced in the original Marvel Comics, they were simply built by Shockwave, who had taken command of the Decepticons at that point. Shockwave used the power of the creation matrix within Optimus Prime to give the Constructicons life. He sent them out right away to build a communications array along with Soundwave. However, when the Constructicons were brought into the original cartoon, we are presented with a plot hole that some fans today still don't understand.
If you interfere with us, you will be terminated!
At first in the Season 1 episode, Heavy Metal War, Megatron declares how they came to be.
They were worth the time we spent building them in these caverns.
Later in the Season 2 episode, Desertion of the Dinobots, the Constructicons are at the Decepticon space bridge and they show no signs of Cybertronium breakdown. Then in the episode Master Builders, Scrapper mentions that the Constructicons admired Grapple's buildings back on Cybertron.
Back on Cybertron, we all admired your buildings, Grapple. They were works of art.
To further cement this idea, the episode The Secret of Omega Supreme tells the tale of how Megatron, using his device, the Robo Smasher, reprogrammed the Constructicons had them destroy Crystal City, gave them the ability to merge into Devastator, and had them betray Omega Supreme.
This is for your own good.
Finally, in the episode 5 Faces of Darkness Part 4, 8 Constructicons are present at the birth of Megatron. Because of this, fans were left scratching their heads wondering what the proper origin was. It's more complicated than who became Cyclonus, and it's certainly a lot bigger of a debate than Fear Rip. So the real question becomes, how does the origin of the Constructicons presented in the original G1 cartoon work with all of the hiccups in continuity? To do that, we have to look at how new characters are introduced in the cartoon, if they are at all. Designed by Wheeljack and Ratchet, the Dinobots were simply built. They are stupid robot dinosaurs that can transform, that are given life by personality components that were upgraded by Wheeljack.
We have to do this quickly before the Decepticons get wind of it.
So when the Constructicons are introduced in Heavy Metal War, the idea that they were just built in the caverns makes sense. Since they are made with Earth materials, they didn't need the Cybertronian element Cybertonium to function like the rest of the Transformers who came to Earth 4 million years ago.
The element is Cybertonium, and it doesn't exist on Earth.
He's right. The only place to get the Cybertonium is on Cybertron.
But for Scrapper's statement in Master Builders, it certainly raises a lot of eyebrows.
Megatron, you got it all wrong.
When Omega Supreme told his story, he stated that they fled Cybertron in a starship and that he followed them for millions of years. Optimus then states,
And then you heard they'd found where Megatron was and rejoined him here on Earth.
I followed. I have been waiting.
However, this was done off camera. So how does this work? How can they have rejoined Megatron when he stated that they were built in those caverns? We have to draw the conclusion that something happened to the Constructicons on their way to rejoin Megatron, and their original bodies were destroyed in the process. Megatron then acquired their laser cores and personality components, which is now called a spark, and built new bodies for them on Earth.
All present are accounted for, Noble Leader. Scavenger, Mixmaster, Long Haul, Bone Crusher, Hook, and myself.
The temporary base with the strength transfer device is most likely the remains of the Constructicons' original ship that they used to escape from Omega Supreme. After all, there wasn't really a reason for the Decepticons not to use their regular undersea base to give Megatron the power he needed to defeat Optimus Prime. The next hurdle we come across is the birth of Megatron, told during Rodimus Prime's vision in the Matrix of Leadership. Present are 8 Constructicons instead of the normal 6. In the next shot is Megatron with the Constructicons starting the Great War. To rectify the birth of Megatron is quite simple. They were building another Decepticon during a time of peace. However, he gathered a following and chose to start the war afterward. When Megatron is seen attacking and killing the U-Haul Autobot leader, whom we now refer to as Sentinel Prime, it must have been some time after the Robo Smasher reprogrammed 6 of the Constructicons. All of the events presented within the Matrix were completely abridged anyway, and the details for that origin will be a discussion for another day. So you're probably left wondering, what about the other 2 Constructicons, right? Well, later retcons have given names to them, the first of which is Hauler. Originally, Hasbro was going to release the Diaclone Crane figure along with the first toys of 1984 under the name Hauler. They chose to wait to release him in 1985 as Grapple instead. However, in 2003, an eHobby exclusive released a Constructicon green repaint of Grapple named Road Hauler. His backstory, as told in the toy's bio, states that he was one of the Constructicons present to build Crystal City. When his teammates were reprogrammed to work for Megatron, he joined the Autobots and was aboard the Ark when it crash-landed on Earth 4 million years ago. He is seen in the pilot episode More Than Meets the Eye, pulling Hound from the ditch.
I'm sorry, hon. Holler! Pull him up!
However, he wasn't seen again in the cartoon afterward. His toy bio continues, stating that he restored his original color scheme, and he was then tasked with scouring the Earth for new sources of energy. Before names and personalities were given to the Constructicons, the name Gravedigger was an alternate name for Scrapper. This ended up being used for a random Constructicon guard in a storybook that used Longhall's body for his appearance. Apparently, he's Bonecrusher's brother. A Sentinel Prime colored Longhall appeared in both 5 Faces of Darkness Part 4 and Fight or Flee. While this is an animation error, we could assume that this is in fact Gravedigger himself.
Sleep soundly, Earth creatures, for your awakening shall be rude.
In the Japanese United toy line, he is rebuilt into Buildmaster, a power core combiner with 4 Constructicon drones, who wants to revive the Constructicons after their battle with Diatlas in Zone. It would be remiss of me not to mention the stories told in the Transformers Collectors Club magazine. While this tried to rectify many events within the G1 cartoon, including the origins of combiner technology, it is actually set in a parallel timeline known as the Wings universe, which eventually deviates from the original cartoon. For instance, their retelling of what happened to the Constructicons before being built on Earth stated that they were ambushed on Cybertron at Elevation Recostolus, and then were transported to Earth by a space bridge to be reactivated by Megatron. Of course, this ignores the fact that it is stated that Omega Supreme followed them for millions of years, which only further separates the comic into its own timeline. Putting it all together is like this. During the Golden Age, the Autobots and Decepticons are at a time of peace. Among the Constructicons' many creations is Megatron. Hoping to rule Cybertron and conquer the universe, Megatron starts the Great War and begins recruiting Decepticons to his cause. Those that don't follow fall victim to the Robo-Smasher to help swell Megatron's ranks. The Constructicons are reprogrammed, and then are modified to combine into Devastator. They fled from Omega Supreme for years until their bodies were somehow destroyed and their sparks ended up on Earth in Megatron's possession. Megatron built new bodies for them, just like Starscream did for the Combaticons, and he put them right to work. So I think this somewhat irons out the Generation 1 cartoon's origin of the Constructicons. While I think fans may or may not agree with my analysis, I think this is probably the cleanest way to fit everything that we have seen in the cartoon.
Prepare to meet your doom. Nothing can withstand the might of Devastator.
But what do you think? Does this really make sense, or are we still left with no answer? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your support. I have many more Transformers discussion videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.